everyone, I'm Catherine and I'm here today with a review for Day 21 by Kass Morgan. This is the second book in the 100 series, which has also, of course, become a TV series on the CW. If you haven't started watching it yet, you really should, because I haven't even finished the first season. I'm very far behind, and wow, like so much has happened, and it's blowing up my Twitter feed every week when the new episode is on. And thankfully, Canadian Netflix adds the new episode every week after it's aired. So I just need the time to sit down and go through and catch up because it's awesome. However, the book series and the TV series are vastly different. I read somewhere on Goodreads someone's review about how they don't enjoy the book series being in like an alternate universe and it seems like a fan fiction. Well, the book series came first. Not by much, but the first book did come out before the TV show did. And they have different characters. The characters that are the same have very different storylines. So, disclaimer, the two don't necessarily go together. Day 21 starts off right where, well, okay, not completely, but Day 21 starts off shortly after where the first book ended. So it is literally the 21st day that they are on Earth, and in the way that the first book was also written, this one also alternates between not only the four main characters, Glass, Bellamy, Clark, and Wells, but it also alternates between their present day and then their past, and like stuff that happened that is affecting their present day. So at times it can be a little confusing just with the back and forth, not only between time periods but between characters. But that being said, in my opinion, it was done really well. So as far as the book itself goes, completely disregarding the TV series, I have to say I was pretty impressed by it. So I remember I really liked the first book when I read it years ago. Like, yeah, I got an advanced reader copy of it. I went through it really fast. I really enjoyed it, and then kind of forgot about it. Of course, then the TV show came along, and I quickly realized they were completely different. So I also then continued to forget about it until I was able to get a copy of books 1 and 2 again through NetGalley, I believe. If not NetGalley, then Edelweiss, and I'll put down here which one it was for sure. I think because the hype for the second season especially was really getting like to a climax that I wanted to know what might be in store and also just what happens next in the book. So it only took me a couple days of reading to finish reading this book, and that's like reading at bedtime time to finish it. I don't know if it's because it was on a Kindle, but it didn't seem to be especially long, which was nice. It was a nice quick read, which is great, of course, for when you're actually reading the physical book, because then, you know, it's not heavy to hold or anything either. Lazy people. So to me, it didn't seem as though a lot happened in this book. And the events actually only take place over the span of like 3 or 4 days. So I mean, not a lot usually happens in a normal person's life in 3 or 4 days either, unless it's like cataclysmic events like plummeting to Earth. But I feel as though this book was definitely something that needed to be done in order to continue on for the next book. A lot was found out at this book about the mothership, whose name I can't remember, and about Earth in the before period of them being there and the after period of the like nuclear war and just stuff that has happened. So it was a lot of information and world building in this book, I felt. A lot was discovered about the characters. Once again, I probably could have done without Glass as a character. I wasn't a big fan. I remember I wasn't the biggest fan of hers from the first book either. Nothing really happened with her at all. Like, she could have been cut. And aside from the fact that hers is the point of view because she's the only one that's remaining on the ship in orbit, like, she wasn't needed. She offered that insight to life still on the spaceship, and that was her plight, I felt, because I just didn't care about her storyline. So unlike the TV series, in the book, Wells is still alive and doing fine. And I liked that in this book they brought in a love interest for him. And I thought that it was very interesting who it was. I'm not giving spoilers here, people. You're going to have to read the book and find this out. And I liked the fact that you were able to see more about his life in the before being on Earth as well. And just like his suspicions and stuff that was happening with his parents. And just things that really affect a person that you don't realize at the time is affecting you until much later and other things happen. Then there's the relationship between Bellamy and Clark. Now, since I'm not up to date on the TV series, I can't speak, of course, as this is really happening in the show, but in the book, yeah, I don't know if I'm a huge fan or not. I want to see where it goes, but we'll have to see. I mean, it's a lot. It's kind of a strange relationship. Like, there's a lot of yelling and blaming and then making up and then yelling and blaming again and hate and love and hate. So it's a bit of a roller coaster with those two, which did make for a very interesting read. So this book actually ended in quite the cliffhanger type ending, from both the outer space and the earthbound perspective. So it's another reason that I really do want to actually read the second book. And I want to see how things end, because the way that it ended was just like, why are you ending this? Why? Why must this end here when all of the stuff is just happening? Because, I mean, let's face it, not a lot has actually happened in this book. And all the action's starting to take place and you end. Not cool. So I would definitely suggest this series and this book to fans of the TV series. However, you do have to go into it realizing that it's not the same thing. While some of the characters are the same, a lot of it is very, very different. You gotta kind of go in with a completely blank slate and just read it and take it as it is, instead of taking it as something in relation to the TV series. Personally, I find that's the best way that I have actually been able to enjoy the books, and especially this one, because they are so different that I needed to disconnect from my known storylines from the TV show in relation to what's going on in the book, because yeah. It is a great way to introduce people to science fiction, especially if they do enjoy the TV series. If you can watch the TV show, you can definitely read the books. Since the TV show, I find, is a lot more graphic in both the violence and the sexual aspects. Not so much the TV, or not so much the book. The book is rather tame as far as that goes. So that's pretty good. Pretty good indeed. I think a lot on this series is going to hinge on how the third book ends, because I did enjoy the first one. I did enjoy this one. But if the third one sucks, it's going to kind of ruin the whole thing for me. But anyway. So, comment down below if you've read it, if you like the TV show, whatever the 100 inspires you to write. And I will also link below in my down bar where you can find me online, so you can contact me on Twitter, contact me on Instagram, let me know how you feel, all that good stuff. And until next time, happy reading, everybody.